She wasn't just a prisoner. They had wired her spine into their machines, drained her life to fire their cannons, her screams swallowed by steel as her blue-skinned body floated in fluid, limp but still glowing. They called her an asset, not a person. But one human, just an engineer, looked into her eyes through the glass and saw she was still alive, still aware. He ripped out her restraints, carried her half-dead form through alarms and fire, and when they tried to take her back, he didn't run. He set their whole world on fire. Because she wasn't a battery, she was someone. And she would never power their cruelty again. She was never meant to speak again. Not after they carved out her voice and plugged her into the war engines. Her blue skin glowed faintly inside the fluid chamber, veins lit like circuitry, eyes half-lidded, body suspended by thick cables that pierced her spine, neck, and thighs. Her horns had been sawed down to stubs, her long ears twitched involuntarily from constant electric pulses, and her once powerful, curvy figure now hung limp, exhausted, drained, still beautiful but barely alive. Each time the cannons fired, her spine surged violently with white-hot light. That was how they'd built their empire, on her pain, and those like her. But he wasn't like the others. He was an engineer, just one among thousands working in the belly of their fortress. But on his third cycle servicing the core chamber, he saw her blink. Once. Slow. Weak. But real. No one told him they were still conscious. He couldn't stop thinking about it. For nights, her face haunted him. Her soft lips parted slightly under the breathing mask, her long white hair swirling like silk through the green fluid, her fingers twitching like they were reaching for something. Reaching for help. They called her Unit V7. But in his mind, she was just her. The girl. The one they were killing slowly. The one who hadn't given up. He tried to ignore it. Tried to be loyal. But the guilt grew louder than his orders. The next time he entered the chamber, he slipped a bare hand against the glass. Her eyes moved, locked onto his, and though her face didn't move, her gaze screamed. He snapped. That night, he forged a shutdown key, illegal, impossible, a death sentence if caught. But it worked. One by one, he disabled the chamber's stabilizers. Alarms went silent. Lights flickered. The fluid drained. Her body collapsed into his arms. She was heavier than she looked, muscle and machinery, pain and power, but he held her, carried her, naked, soaked, glowing faintly as wires ripped free from her back and thighs. Her head lolled against his shoulder. Blood and fluid soaked his uniform. And yet, she breathed. "I've got you," he whispered. "You're free now." She couldn't speak, but her hand clutched weakly at his chest. They chased him, of course. Sirens howled. Fire sprayed from ceilings. But he knew the tunnels better than anyone. He carried her through the guts of their empire, through maintenance shafts, elevator chutes, bypassed armories. She woke once during the escape, vomiting fluid, coughing, her body convulsing in his grip. Her legs didn't respond. Her voice rasped like a machine's dying breath. But she looked at him, not like a savior, but like a promise. Like she'd survive this if he didn't stop. And he didn't. When they reached the hangar, the gates had already sealed. Soldiers poured in. Guns raised. "Hand her over," they shouted. "She's an asset." He looked down at her. She shook her head, barely, but enough. He knelt, gently laid her behind the steel crates. Then he stood, hands shaking, and lit the fuel lines. The explosion rocked the entire station. Chaos swallowed the chamber. He dragged her onto a loading shuttle in the confusion, fingers burned, uniform torn, lungs full of smoke, but she was still in his arms. They escaped. They hid. For days, he nursed her in silence, antiseptics, rations, warmth. Her body shook through withdrawal. Her spine glowed out of rhythm, dangerously unstable. Her horn stubs bled. Her long ears flinched at every sound. But she clung to him like a heartbeat. "You shouldn't have come for me," she whispered, voice like cracked glass. He met her gaze. "They don't get to keep you." Her lip trembled. "I wanted to die." "I know," he said. "But you didn't. Why do you care?" "Because you looked at me like you still wanted to live." She sobbed, not loud but violently. He held her through it, letting her broken body curl into his, letting her heart learn how to beat again. Weeks passed. She healed slowly. The glow of her spine steadied. Her strength returned, first in her hands, then her voice, then her legs. Her horns would never regrow, but her ears rose again when she smiled. He helped her walk. She taught herself how to stand. And when she stood without trembling, she turned to him and whispered, "I was born in a lab. I didn't even know my own name." "Then pick one," he said. "Whatever you want." She closed her eyes. "Kira." It's beautiful. You gave me back my life, she said softly. Now I want to feel it. She touched his hand. He froze. Her fingers slid into his. Is that okay? Yeah, he breathed. It's more than okay. Their lips met slowly, like two broken things learning how to touch. Not perfect, not clean, but real and warm. The next day, ships came for them. The Empire had tracked them. They offered him a choice, surrender Kira and walk away alive, or die beside her. He didn't speak, just turned to her. Her blue skin shimmered in the light of their ship. Her short fitted top hugged her body now strong again, her thighs tense beneath tactical wraps. She glowed like a storm. What do you want to do? He asked. She smiled, sad, fierce, radiant. Burn them. They fought side by side. Her spine released arcs of raw energy. His hands built weapons from scraps. Together, they burned the lab where she was made. They burned the registry that named her an object. They burned the gate that led back to their world. And when it was done, and the fire still echoed in the sky, he sat beside her on a ruined cliff. She leaned into him, her white hair blown by the wind. I don't know what comes next, she whispered. We build it, he said. She closed her eyes. With you. He held her tighter. Always. And in that moment, the girl who once powered machines with her pain glowed only for herself. Ask ChatGPT.